We welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Joey Fear alongside my partner Gabby Chernoff for an exciting day two. Geary and the Royals set to do battle here coming up on the Windy City Sports Network. Geary yesterday went 1-1, and they certainly look to have a better day. And for the Royals, 0-2 yesterday. They didn't really get the bats going. Gabby, what do you look for them?
I think for the Royals, a lot of it started in the bullpen. Their first pitcher they brought out in Derby in that first game, she started really strong, kind of hit a wall, and they just couldn't seem to pull an arm out of their bullpen to kind of make up for that, get themselves going. They got run ruled in that first game. And then in the second game, they brought Derby back out. She still seemed like she wasn't herself. She wasn't back to how she fully was at the start of that first game when she really did have full command. And then they kind of just got frustrated, I think. They made some errors in the infield. They got a little bit frazzled. And so I just don't think that team was really gelling together. So I think if they can kind of regroup, find their footing, and just play with a little bit more calamity, they should be good to go. It kind of helps clear the headspace. And as far as Geary, they went 1-1 yesterday. Strong performances, 2 close games by them. Should be interesting to see what they do today.
Yeah, they went back and forth with the Cubs. They were currently up in that game, then went down, had a chance to tie it up in the 7th inning, but just weren't unable to do so with Chiron up at the plate. But they are up against the Royals coming up here on the Windy City Sports Network. We'll have all action for you coming up.
welcome you to day number 2 and game number 2 of the 2024 MLB Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament here in Chicago. Joey Fear alongside my partner Gabby Chernoff, live coming at you from Flames Field. A beautiful Chicago skyline in the background as the Kansas City Royals looking to avenge 2 losses as they get underway here against Gary Nike RBI. As Skylar Egan already with a bunt, rounds first, heads for second. And just like Gary Nike RBI wanted, they get a double.
Yeah, Hatcher over there at first. She was trying to make the play to get her out, but unable. That throw was just off target, and then she threw it to try and make the play at second to get her out and hit her in the back.
Alexandria Cowan is up. She's been quite active on the pitching duties, but currently batting in the 2-hole. So Egan reaches second via error. And Sophia Bond on the mound for the Royals, the lefty, was second pitch high and for a ball, 2-0. Gary Nike RBI 1-1 yesterday. They had that impressive victory over Indy 6-1, and then they fell short to the Cubs 6-4, back in 4th game in that late afternoon slot. And just not able to tie that game up. It went back and forth. Chicago was up, and then Gary took the lead, and the Cubs took it right back not too long after. So it's important for Gary to try to get this second win, as that second batter is walked.
Well, they're certainly off to a good start in trying to get that second win.
They certainly are. Cowan, she'll take first. Egan remains at second. And a courtesy runner comes in of Dakota Hawkstra. So Hawkstra at first. You have Egan at second. It's Gary team. It's their first year being in this tournament, and they are excited to be here.
They're really making some noise. You know, no one knew really what to expect from them, but they've put on quite a show so far. They're kind of the underdogs in this one.
Yeah, only one high school with a softball team in the Gary area, as that is driven up the middle. Egan looks to take home as that play is well beyond the plate. Egan will round third, head for home. And runners get to second and third. How about that? Abby Statham Ball doing exactly what the doctor ordered, a drive up the middle. And she drives in an RBI.
This is kind of something we saw defensively from this Kansas City team yesterday as well. They almost look frazzled in the infield. There's not very good communication and just a lot of off-target throws, and we've seen that twice today. 2 errors already with nobody out for Kansas City.
Well, Savannah Roberts, the home run derby champion, hasn't had a home run yet. And perhaps this is the game where she could do so. Gary with an early 1-0 lead. Runners on second and third. Bond delivers as Roberts hits it high into left field. That is over the wall for a ground rule double. So 1 run scores, the second one scores, and Savannah Roberts that close to a home run, but she drives in 2 runs.
Yeah, that's kind of the big impact we've been waiting for Roberts to have. Not necessarily waiting for, but kind of anticipating, I think, is the better word. Like you said, the home run derby champion. She's had a couple pop-outs and a couple singles and doubles, but nothing really that was definitely the biggest hit of the weekend for her so far.
That's a pitch from Bond. Out and away. Roberts gets to third. Already a 3-0 lead for Gary.
Now they brought in Bond in their first game yesterday. It was the opening game of this tournament on day 1 of it, and she came in to relieve their starting pitcher, and she just couldn't get things done. The the lead for Indianapolis, which was the team they lost to, was minimal, and then they kind of broke it wide open when she was on the mound. And so she'll definitely want to bounce back from that today. A little bit of a hole she's dug herself into, and the rest of the team in the first inning here. But if they can show some resiliency, that would be really good for just kind of the character and the overall confidence of the team.
Yeah, they have dug themselves in the hole here in the top of the first. No outs. Roberts stands at third. Macy Hammer in fifth in the order. She'll see the 3-1. That bunts down low. Attacking it is Hatcher. The throw to first does not get there. Hammer on her way to second. Roberts will score. And a 4-0 lead for Gary.
That's kind of interesting. She was close to home plate and had time to make the play there. It's interesting she went to try and get the out at first rather than she had a much shorter throw to home to she could have prevented another run there.
So Hammer reaches second via error from the catcher. And this will bring in Viviana Chavez. As already Hammer gets to third. So 1-0 count. 4-0 Gary already with 2 hits. Bond delivers the 1-0 outside and it goes low. 3-0. This infield for Kansas City has shifted in. They expect Hammer, as soon as this ball goes down, to charge on home. If they want to be smart, the play is at the plate. 2-0. In for a strike, 2-1. So Vaughn just trying to get under her feet and find the strike zone. The lefty delivers, the 2-1 is fouled back into the stands. Two balls, 2 strikes. 2 hits for Gary. As the 2-2 just up above the plate with a full count on the way. Hammer at third. 3 errors so far in the field for the Royals. The full count delivery and sliced backwards out in foul territory. The count runs full on Chavez. Bond sets in and fires, and it is high for ball 4. Chavez will take first. Hammer remains at third. As Hammer decides to charge on home, she steals and gets out. Chavez goes to second. So on that walk, Hammer decided to charge on home. A good play to prevent that 5th run for the Royals.
Yeah, trying to kind of minimize their losses here. They're already down 4. They had nobody out. So with the runner in scoring position, getting her out was definitely a start to get out of this inning alive.
So the first baseman, Maya Jones. 1 down, an 0-1 count. Bond is ahead. She'll set in and fire the 0-1. That is hit, popped up high into shallow left field as Caitlin Owings comes under it and makes the grab.
That pitch had a little bit of an arc to it. It was kind of dropping, and right before it dropped, I think, where Jones would have wanted it to, she took a swing at it kind of off the top of her bat, couldn't find the sweet spot on it. So that's why it went all the way up and an easy grab over there in the outfield.
So the Royals back-to-back outs as a swing and a sharply hit bouncer towards the second baseman, Hammer. Morris on the Hatcher as that is thrown over. Diving on home is Chavez, and she'll be safe for the 5th run. So 5-0 lead for Gary. Melody reaches first on a fielder's choice. So bottom of the lineup with Gabrielle Cowan, who drives it out to right field, and not coming under it with an easy grab is Trowbridge. Not before Gary, though. They get 5 runs as we head to the bottom of the first. Gary in a commanding lead. Let's see if Kansas City can respond. Find out next on the Windy City Sports Network. Coming up. Back here for the bottom of the first. Gary 5, Kansas City 0, looking to respond. As they had 4 errors in the field. Haven't been their best on the defensive end. Let's see if they can make up for it with the bats. Kale Hopner, she'll get started. She's been in this leadoff spot quite a bit this weekend. She'll face the pitcher, Alexandria Cowan, with her sister, Gabrielle Cowan, at catcher. So the Cowan sisters have a great connection. As first pitch strike, 0-1.
Yeah, these Cowan sisters, like you just mentioned, they're good together. Alexandria Cowan started on the mound. She's the pitcher in the first game yesterday. She made it through that entire game, and then in Gary's second game against the Cubs, they brought her in about halfway through. Her sister Gabrielle not on at home, not catching while she was pitching. But they have good chemistry. You can tell it kind of provides a sense of solace for Alexandria when she has her sister that she's throwing the ball to.
The 1-2 fouled away from Hopner. And Coach Kerry Kankey for Kansas City talked about this team, and more of a veteran group this year, still very young, but they just didn't have enough players to compete in the 18U division last year. So definitely stepping up a division and stepping up an age group for them. So they're just very excited to be here, and she's quite the coach in collegiate softball, has been doing it for over 20 years, all the way from the Division III level at Defiance College in Ohio to Norfolk State in Virginia. She has been around. She's a good leader for this group. A ball, 2 strikes. Cowan looks down. Hopner stays in the count. The 1-2 right down the plate for strike 3. Hopner saw it looking. And Cowan, the first batter of the day, she comes up with a strikeout.
Cowan very consistent and just very good. She had 12 strikeouts in that first game yesterday. She's very consistent. She's consistently good and strong, and it'll definitely be a challenge for these hitters for Kansas City to try and get around her.
Shortstop Allie Compton faces an 0-1 count. Maddie Morris on deck. And the 0-1, swing and a miss for strike 2. If Kansas City loses this game, they'll officially be eliminated for a berth in the World Series. Just trying to find and get under their feet here. They face a deficit. Ball 2 strikes. They had that incredible inside the park home run from Gracie Hatcher, a 3-run inside the park home run, as going down swinging Cowan, delivering some heat here early.
One thing she's really good at is delivering the first pitch as a strike. When you get that 0-1 count early, you have a lot more freedom, and it can kind of get in the hitter's head a little bit. So Cowan definitely uses that to her advantage when she gets that first strike. She has a lot more flexibility in what she wants to do for the rest of the count with that batter.
Maddie Morse, she'll see a first pitch strike across the plate. Yeah, you mentioned that, Gabby. Always that you can get ahead in that count, especially on that first pitch. You're putting yourself in a great position. Second pitch down the plate for a strike. Cowan, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And once again, Cowan goes 3 up and 3 down for the first 3 batters, as Gary, as good as they were on the offensive end, have been that good on the defensive side. We head to the top of the second. Gary 5, Kansas City 0. We return the top of the second inning and the top of the order for Gary Nike RBI. New arm in for Kansas City, looking to change things up. Layla Lewis, the right-hander, as her first pitch is just on the inside. Skylar Egan reached base via error her first time up. She was the first one to cross home plate for this Gary team on their first game of this Saturday afternoon. As the throw across from third to first is in time. Capria Darby making the play.
It's a good way to start this inning for Kansas City after going down 5 in the top of that first. 4 errors, so if they can kind of get their footing as far as fielding goes, that'll definitely be a good way for them to start this inning.
Alexandria Cowan, who you just saw on the mound, go 3 straight strikeouts, is back in the batter's box. Her first time up, she walked. So no 1 count. Lewis delivers. That's sailed high in for a ball. 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, the 1-1. And once again, sails above 2-1. 2 balls, a strike with 1 down. Lewis sets it and fires low into the dirt for ball 3.
Cowan doing a good job being patient here, not trying to jump the gun, swing at anything she doesn't think she can hit.
3 balls, a strike. The 3-1 up above the zone, in for ball 4. So Alexandria Cowan, both times up at the plate, she's been walked. And so she'll come out for a courtesy runner. Dakota Hoekstra in once again. So Abby Stadium ball. And a 1-run RBI double her first time up. Showing bunt, pulling it away. It comes in for a strike, 0-1. So no balls, a strike. Hoekstra stands at first. As that's a wild pitch that goes behind the plate. Morgan turns. Just like that. Hoekstra to third.
Hustling in the infield and just kind of finishing out plays is another thing that's kind of plagued Kansas City here. A lot of the times that we've seen in the 2 games we have seen from him, and even early in this third one, they're just...
So a drop third strike. The throw is a little bit late, and Hoekstra just crosses home plate. Boy, it was a throw to first. Tita Longa threw to the pitcher, Lewis. That extra throw allowed ball to get to first. Brought in Hoekstra. So Savannah Roberts making her impact her first time up with a ground roll double. Well, she was that close to seeing a home run. Have not seen one yet this weekend from any team. So certainly looking to have that possibly. Roberts sees it low and on her way to second with a wild pitch once more. Here's ball.
Like I was kind of talking about, just the kind of speed at which the ball is played in the infield. They look at a lot of plays as if they're over, like the runner won't advance, and then things like that happen, and the runner can advance. It results in more bases than you needed it to, and there are things that can be easily prevented.
And so once again, another wild pitch from Lewis. Advances ball. And that goes behind the catcher on her way home as Hoekstra. And so, once again, Roberts, who was walked, goes to first. And as a steal was happening, she takes her way to second. 6-0, Gary.
We talked earlier about the Cowan sisters, their chemistry as catcher and pitcher, and having that. And they threw Lewis out on the mound. I think Bond liked Morgan maybe a little bit more than Lewis does. It seems like there's not very good pitcher-catcher communication. We've seen a lot of those wild pitches, maybe a little bit more uncomfortable with Morgan. So they're regrouping at the mound now. We'll see what they do about it, if the strategy changes or what their coach can try and fix here.
What do you tell your team if you're head coach Carrie Kankey? Do you tell them, do we have to limit the errors? And certainly they have 6. But what would you tell your team right now?
I think just playing with a little bit more urgency and clear-headedness, if that's a verb. But just, like I said, it looks like they're kind of just moseying around the infield, looking at plays like they're over when they're not, and it's really hurting them. They're down 7 very early, so just playing with a little bit more urgency, I think, and the decision making, that goes back to playing with a clear head, just being able to make the correct decision, the one that causes the least damage and is the smartest one in the moment.
Certainly that is. They're going to have to regroup. Macy Hammer is due up. Reach base via error from the catcher. It's Juliet Titalanga behind the plate. There's a big job to do today, as once again that goes behind her. Roberts on her way to third. Well, she fell down. And she's laughing about it. She's a great spirit, a great person as well, and she's got a bright future.
Yeah, we got to talk to her after she did win that home run derby. A very nice person. From the conversation that I had with her, she said that those home runs, it's kind of something that's in her wheelhouse. We saw her get close just an inning ago, so it'd be great to see if she can crank one home after being the champion of that kick off the weekend. But yeah, good spirit, very, very nice girl to talk to.
This team and this program is just excited for regionals. As Hammer lines one out for a foul. You know, Nate George, the youth advocate for Gary, Nike RBI, he just said he's excited for these kids to have this opportunity, play at a higher competition. And they have a great tradition of baseball and softball players that are out of the state of Indiana. It's not a popular sport like basketball or football, but like we talked about, certainly on the rise. And this is a great challenge for them. They're up to the challenge, and certainly have seen like that so far. Already 7 runs through 2 innings, and they're just getting started.
Yeah, these are the 2 newest programs in this softball pool. Kansas City, this is their 3rd year competing in the softball pool, and then like you just said, Gary, it's their 1st year. And they're not messing around here. You can tell they take this very seriously. They're grateful for the opportunity, and they're showing it.
There is a ball there. Ball number 4. Runners at the corners, only 1 out. So Viviana Chavez also able to cross home plate today as well. 2 hits but 7 runs. They have been great on the base running. 6 errors from Kansas City have also helped the 7 runs. Kansas City just trying to limit those. The strike comes in. And just an easy walk to second from Hammer. So 2 runners in scoring position. One gone. The 0-1. Way high. In for a ball, 1-1.
Yeah, Hammer there just took second, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, just playing with a little bit more urgency. Morgan had the ball, and she had plenty of time to try and make that throw to second, and I think if she had to and it had been on target, that would have been an easy out for them.
2 balls and a strike. Savannah Roberts at third. Hammer at second. The 2-1 from Lewis into the dirt. As Tita Longa had to act quickly, able to slide over and play more of a goalie there to try not to let the ball go behind her. One down. The 3-1 delivery way low as Roberts at third looking to go home, but she retreats back. That puts Chavez at first, and the bases are loaded.
That's Lewis's third walked batter of the day. 5 total walks for the Royals pitchers.
That first pitch is really high. Maya Jones Roberts glides on home. An 8-0 lead here in the top of the second. So Lewis just has to settle in. Keep more pitches low. Chavez on second, Hammer on third.
Yeah, Lewis is really getting Morgan moving behind the plate there.
One down. The 2-0, and boy, Tita Longa had to be a little bit smarter, and she did so there. The 3-0, right down the plate in for a strike, 3-1. Well done from Lewis to fight back in this count. Three balls a strike. Lewis, the 3-1 service is high, in for ball 4. So 4 straight walks. As Lewis just trying to find the strike zone. This brings up Claire Melody, batting in the 8 spot. As a swing and a bouncer over to Darby at third. Looks to go 3, but does not. That's going to score a run. And the bases loaded once more. Hammer gets home. Chavez to third. Jones at first. Jones at second. And Melody at first. Hammer gets home via fielder's choice. In a tough spot there, Derby was, because she was looking to go 3, but by that time, the runner already got there, and and when she looked to go for first, it was a little bit too late.
Yeah, I think a little bit just of a miscue between the shortstop and the third baseman there. Yeah, Derby had the ball. She was looking to toss it to Compton, who ran over to the bag. But at that point, the runner was already there. I think if Derby had maybe turned around, she wasn't far from the bag either. If she had turned around and tried to beat her to the base, that might have been a play she could have made there too as well.
One down. Runners all on first, second, and third. The bases are juiced. As a dropped pitch. And running on home is Chavez. Lewis and Tita Longa a little bit out of sorts. 5 runs in the first, 5 in the second here for Gary. the 9-hole spot. Gabrielle Cowan, part of the Cowan sister duo. She popped out to right field on her first time up. Two balls, no strikes. Two runners in scoring position. Lewis just can't find the strike zone. Looking to paint that upper edge. 3-0 count. Lewis sets in the 3-0. Down the plate for a strike. Lewis doing a good job in facing these 3-0 counts, finding a way to stay back in and seek the strike zone. The 3-1, back out. As Melody on second, Jones on third. And Gabrielle Cowan, who's 0 for 1. Only 2 hits for Gary, which is a surprising part. It has been the errors for Kansas City and the base running for Gary that has put it at a double-digit lead. The full count service is high for ball 4. Cowan will take first. And we return to the top of the order for Skylar Egan. Grounded out to short her last time up. Lewis will set in, and showing bunt is Egan. And that will go in foul territory. As Egan shows bunt, Jones is going to have to race on home. And the runners are going to have to try to advance the next bag. Right now, since the bases are loaded, let's see what they can do. Infield has shifted in. And a low pitch from Lewis that goes into the dirt. The 1-1. And a dropped pitch from Tita Longa, charging on home. The play at the plate, and she's out.
That's the urgency that I think they need to be playing with. They needed to start with that, and I think that's kind of what they need to carry out. That was good on Lewis for coming on home, knowing that Morgan it was easier for her to make a toss than try to beat the runner home. So that's the kind of urgency they need to play with. That's a good way to kind of hopefully get the ball moving for Kansas City defensively.
Yeah, best play they've made defensively today. Tita Longa to Lewis connection. It's chopped out right side in foul territory. Two runners in scoring position. Deuces run wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that comes in for a ball. Full count. Lewis will set in. Needs a good pitch here. The 3-2. Swinging a bouncer towards the second baseman Morris on the first for the third out. But Gary puts up another 5 runs as they lead 10-0. As we head to the bottom of the second here on the Windy City Sports Network. Do not go away. Kansas City up to bat next. the bottom of the second we go. There's this Kansas City Royals team looking to find some offense. They need it right now. Emma Morgan batting in the cleanup spot. Morgan, Trowbridge, and Hatcher, 4, 5, and 6 in the lineup, is due up. Cowan, the 1-0. I mean, you look at Gary, they've been great in terms of the hitting and just the base running, but when you have a pitcher like Cowan that can get it done on the defensive side, that can go a long way.
Yeah, she's just lights out, and she has been, and having that consistency along with the talent and the way she's been able to execute that arm is something that's really, really good for the confidence of the team, on both sides of the ball.
A ball, 2 strikes. And the 1-2 from Cowan, chopped out right side in foul territory. It's all right, it is a beautiful day for softball. Softball, though, cloudy, 75 degrees, a little bit of sunshine as well. You're on a beautiful day in the Windy City.
It really is perfect weather today.
1-2 popped high, left field side, as Claire Melody, the left fielder, chasing after it. Not able to get to it in time, but good contact there from Morgan. One-two count. Just high. In for a ball, 2-2. So Cowan went 3 up, 3 down by herself. 3 straight strikeouts in the first inning. Not going to do the same here. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, and she starts it off with a strikeout. That's 4 straight strikeouts in total.
Yeah, Cowan has only thrown Ks today.
Infield has not had to do a lot of work so far. As Maya Trowbridge, the right fielder, she'll step in. The first pitch strike clips the right edge of the zone.
This is really interesting, too, how Cowan is setting this up here, the way she's sequencing her pitches. That last batter on Morgan, she threw a curveball to the outside, and then she pitched to the inside, and then she threw a rise ball high, and then that last one, because she had her confused, she got in her head. Morgan didn't know where she was about to go, and she threw that last one down low, got her swinging. So Cowan, I think the best pitcher we've seen at sequencing her pitches.
2. Boy, that looked like that could have been the top part of the zone. Just sailed above. 1-2. Cowan looking to make it 5 straight in total, as she does right there. Trowbridge goes down swinging. And how about that, Alexandria Cowan? One of the best arms we've seen this weekend. So Gracie Hatcher, she'll step in now in the right-handed batter's box. Somebody that had that 3-run inside the park home run yesterday. The biggest moment for the Royals offensively. She absolutely drove a ball in left center field. 2 runs scored, and then there was a little bit of delay there that they threw a ball behind home plate. Hatcher just kept on running and made the excellent play to slide on home. That cut the lead in half, 6-3 yesterday to the White Sox, but White Sox took control from there. So ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cowan looking to go 6 up and 6 down. Just by herself, the 1-2, and does so there. Alexandria Cowan, 6 straight strikeouts. She goes 6 up and 6 down by herself. We head to the top of the third. Gary 10, Kansas City 0. To the top of the third we go. Alexandria Cowan, 6 straight strikeouts. And she'll have her turn at the plate. Pitching change for the Royals, Annabelle Breedlove. She'll step onto the mound. Layla Lewis goes out. So the third pitcher to toe the slab today for the Royals.
Some of this Kansas City baseball team has come out to try and support the girls on the softball field.
Yeah, look at that down there near the dugout. That's always great to see. Now the field's so close to each other. Last year the softball played partially at DePaul University, so a little bit tougher to go visit their program as well in the softball and baseball. But right here this year, Flames Field just right next to Curtis Granderson Stadium. A great environment, great campus all around. Third and final year that the Central Regional Tournament is here in Chicago. They have not announced where it will be next. This is one of 5 regional tournaments going on this weekend, all throughout the country. Couldn't think of a better place than right here in the Windy City. And Gary already with 10 runs. They're looking to add some more. Has it been the fielding for Kansas City, or has it been more the pitching side?
I think a little bit of both. They've been having struggles with their bullpen throughout the entirety of this weekend that we've seen from them so far. And I think I mentioned this too. This group of girls may be unfamiliar with each other, and it's just not gelling the way they would have liked to. They look a little bit frazzled. The communication isn't always there, so they've mixed things up a lot. We haven't seen the same starting lineup in the field for consecutive games from them ever, so they're just really trying to mix things up, and hopefully this for them can solidify at least something. They can get something going for their last game, maybe extend this one a little bit longer.
As I said, they would be eliminated from contention of competing in the championship. So if they did lose this game, so they have a big hole to get out of. There's Cowan. Is ahead in the 1-0 count. 8-4 strike, 1-1. How about the baseball team from Kansas City?
Yeah, making some noise over there. They're trying to hype up the new pitcher, Breedlove.
A ball and a strike. The 1-1 popped out as Tita Longa makes an amazing grab on the right field line. Much needed there. And a boost of confidence. Boy, she dove out and made that grab.
Yeah, she did, and playing with that urgency, both catchers that they've utilized today, Morgan and Tita Longa, they've kind of found that speed, that sense of urgency that they need to play with. That was a really good maneuver to get over there, make the catch by her, and who knows, maybe this is all that Kansas City team needed, was the support of the baseball team.
One out, and a good start. The best start they've had here in the top half of these innings. The 0-1 has hit skied in the air, heading back towards the track, and that gets on before the wall. On her way to second is Ball, and she rounds second, heads for third. And a triple there for Abby Statham Ball. We made a lot of great contact with that one, and that goes over the head of the center fielder, Hopner.
2 almost home runs in this game very early for Gary, and the one who almost hit it that first time, Roberts, she's back up to bat, but a huge triple there for Ball.
Savannah Roberts, we'll see a strike. 0-1. One down. The 0-1. Roberts lines it into the third baseman, Darby. It goes off her right ankle. Ball gets home. Roberts on her way to second. As Hopner having trouble fielding that. Boy, Savannah Roberts ripped that ball through the third base line and took an awkward bounce off of Derby. That drives in a run. And Gary up 11-0.
His last 2 batters, Ball and Roberts, have found really good spots.
Macy Hammer. Excuse me, that is Walker, who bunts it on the third base line. Caitlin Walker, as they look to go 3 for Roberts. (11-0) Gary. Runners at the corners. This will take us to Viviana Chavez. Runners at first and third. That pitch is a little bit low. It's dropped from Tita Longa. Walker gets to second with ease. So runners in scoring position once again. That's second and third.
Yeah, and only 1 out, too, so ample opportunity to bring both of them home.
As they swing and a sharply hit ground ball over towards the second baseman. Morris on her way, throws it to first, but that is going to get in a run. Roberts, an RBI there. Walker gets to third.
Morris has been pretty clean there over at first base. The couple of plays that she's made, we saw her moving all around the infield yesterday too, short and second. We saw her pitch for a little bit too, but she looks the best over there at first from what we've seen so far.
Two down, no balls and a strike. Walker stands at third. The 0-1 is ripped into shallow left. That gets down before Owings can get to it. Walker gets home. And a 13-0 lead for Gary. So Nina via Step up and see a strike. No balls, a strike with 2 down. The 0-1. Ripped in between. Derby gets to it, throws on to first. That does not complete the play. As on her way to third, a runner gets to third now. That was Mackenzie Cercio, who's at third. So Gary using their depth. Runners at the corners. So Cowan will now step in, but another stolen base. Boy, they are just doing that with ease. That in between first and second doesn't seem like they're even looking there. Runners at second and third. Breedlove will deliver the 1-0, sliced outside for a foul.
And for the team on offense, you can pick up on the eyes and kind of the body language of the team, the defensive team in the field, and that's kind of what happened, what allowed the runner Morgan to get, or excuse me, Cerceo to get over to third. There is Morris couldn't make the play, or the play didn't get to her in time, the ball didn't get to her in time over there at first, and she kind of just looked down, collapsed a little bit, and Cerceo picked up on that, said, hey, she's not looking to make the play, so I'm going to run on over to third base here. So I think just a little bit more intentionalness with the Royals on the infield here would help them, and just kind of solidifying their game and making sure they're finishing out plays and not letting the damage go further than it needs to.
That's a good point there. It's a full count. You know, this Royals team, they've got some talent. And just about connecting the throws and being on target. You know, a lot of accuracy that they'll just have to clean up. As the full count service goes out for a ball. Cowan will take first. Cerceo at third. So Aubrey Walzak, she'll step in the place of Ball. Runners at first and third. First pitch on the way is a strike. The 0-1 is behind in a wild pitch. Walking on home is Cerceo. 14-0 lead for Gary. Remind you, the run rule for the tournament is 15 runs after 3. Also 12 runs after 4 as well. So Gary, looks like the way they're going to do it, they have been, Kansas City struggled, Gabby, but Gary's been really, really solid on both ends.
They have. They've been pretty sound on both sides of the ball from what we've seen from them throughout this tournament. They're 1-1, a very close loss to the Cubs RBI program yesterday, 6-4, but they look very clean in the infield. They have some hot bats, some really good pitchers, obviously, or hitters, excuse me, and then the lights out pitcher Cowan. She's been doing a good job just carrying this team defensively. It's really cool to see a first-year program in this tournament being able to do that. They look really good, they play very clean, and they keep the game pretty simple.
As another wild pitch once again. A runner gets home, 2 runners get home. And Gary currently up. So Walzak is at third. This is Amelia Green up at the plate. 8 errors in the field. The 1-0. In for a strike, 1-1.
Gary, Indiana, not too far from where we are here in Chicago. Probably cool for everyone who's not from the Chicago area or around here to come probably explore the city a little bit when they're not playing. We've had a lot of fun, some good sights to see on our way here every morning and when we go back. So it's a really cool city. We're happy to be here. Lots to see.
It certainly is. Right down Lakeshore Drive. And you got the lake on your right, the city on your left, and certainly just a beautiful city. And these players, they know what's at stake. They're representing their city. And I mean, as we talked about yesterday, it's big for these girls to get together. Team bonding is very much a thing because you're in the hotel, you're on the bus together. They all take buses here, so that really can bring a team closer together. That's exactly what you want. It's bigger, not only softball, but it's bigger than the game of softball. The reason why these girls are all here, and that's always great to see. This Gary team, talking to some of the players in the home run derby, a lot of them are from Illinois. Gary just borders Illinois and northwest part of Indiana, so they know each other. A lot of them, you would assume, probably know each other, played against each other. So that's always nice to see, and it looks like they might be calling this game due to the run rule. Or maybe not. They have stopped for now. I believe Kansas City is going to get their at-bat to finish out the 3 innings. And Gary will just take the field. You would think one more time. If Kansas City can find a way to drive in some runs, this game will continue. But right now, through 2.5 innings, Gary 5 runs in the first and the second, and 6 here in the third. As we'll be back shortly here in the bottom of the third on the Windy City Sports Network. Bottom of the third inning here in Flames Field, the University of Illinois Chicago campus. So We just learned that at the top of the third, the coach told the runner to intentionally get out as they would proceed here to the bottom of the third inning. It's a new pitcher in for Gary as Derby leads off with a single, shoves one into left field. Kansas City, boy, the baseball team still supporting. They are the loudest ones here.
It's the loudest crowd we've heard all weekend.
Yeah. As first pitch strike on Tita Longa. So Amelia Green having the pitching duties. Swing and a miss on the inside for strike 2, 0-2.
They've busted out the noisemaker now. They're really trying to get him going.
No balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2. Tita Longa reaches for it and strikes out. Batting next is Alicia Lopez for the Royals. Derby with a leadoff single. The first hit of the game. So 1 down, no balls and a strike. The 0-1. Push to the left side, out in foul territory. No balls, 2 strikes. As a drop third strike. Boy, she got out though because Derby retreated back to first. So that's 2 outs, 1 more, and that should do it. As top of the order with Kale Hopner. Struck out looking her first time up. Pitch outside. In for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. In for strike 1, 1-1. Derby at first. A ball and a strike. The 1-1. Swinging a sharply hit ground ball over to Hammer. And throws it on to first, and that should do it. Gary with a dominating 16-0 performance. 5 runs each in the first and second, and 6 in the third, as they propel themselves to a 2-1 record here this weekend. They still have work to be done, as they'll play later this afternoon. But Kansas City falls to 0-3. Not what they wanted to set up. Gary has a chance next. They'll face the White Sox in a much crucial game coming up later this afternoon. But for now, for Gabby Chernoff, for Joey Fear, we will see you in not too long. The next game coming up on the Windy City Sports Network.